Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for the next part of the German assault on Hill 314. Now, just to recap slightly on where we were when I ended the last video, the Germans on this side of the map have been building up their strength to carry the US defensive positions around the high ground here. And to do that, they've been slowly building up their strength while at the same time sending parties of riflemen out on either flank to just apply pressure to the US defenders and just keep them off balance if they can. It's really just to get them forward, hopefully without too many casualties, so that when they've got the support units in place and the German mortars are already setting up, they can try and probe the US position for weak points and then maybe seize part of the high ground. They don't need to take all of it, they just need to take any one of these areas. The US, for their part, has been a bit unadventurous but quite sensible. With my USA hat on, I decided that I would keep everyone fairly close. My main objective is to keep a tight hold on the three objective locations because we do not want any German units getting anywhere near the place. If I get an opportunity to, I'll do what I did with Rifle Squad B and push some men into forward positions as a way of trying to keep the Germans at bay. But we'll see how things pan out on this turn. There was only one other thing I wanted to mention. Apologies for this. In the previous video, I'd accidentally placed a 2 victory point banner in that area there. It should have just been a 1. My mistake. I've noticed it and corrected. But if the sharp-eyed among you are wondering why that's downgraded from a 2 to a 1, that's basically why. So, picking up where we left off, the US has the initiative. And looking at their cards, they have some very, very useful cards going for them. But therein lies their difficulty. What are they going to commit to the initiative? They're being pressed on both flanks, so I think it's fairly important that they make use of Rifle Squad A and the machine gunner from Rifle Squad C. Now, they've got 2 cards for Rifle Squad B, one of whom is the squad leader. And with my US hat on, as I say, given that the center has been fairly quiet, I'm going to take a chance that it's going to remain so and commit our friend here as our initiative bid. What are the Germans going to do? What does their hand look like? This is not a bad hand. The difficulty the Germans have is that they really want to be getting on with it and applying the pressure. And if they use, certainly if they use these 2 Rifle Squad C cards, it's going to delay them a bit. I mean, they have a good chance of winning the initiative, but the question is, do they want to use these cards for their in-game function, or do they want to win the initiative with them? Same with Rifle Squad A. Those men are forward. They don't just want to sit there passively while they're plinked at by the US forces on the hill, so they might actually want to do something. And lastly, they've got their Fog of War card. So what to do, really? How badly do the Germans want the initiative? Well, I'm going to say, based on what's here, that they probably don't want it that badly, and they would like to do something with all of these cards. So they're going to take they're going to accept that they've not got the initiative this turn and commit a 1. And so, of course, the cards are revealed and the USA has the initiative this turn. So how are we going to do this? Well, I think with Squad Leader B, it's easy. There's not really anything much for them to do, so we're just going to use his bolster ability. I would like to add another rifleman card and another machine gunner card to Squad B. Rifleman A, I think that's another easy one. We're just going to target their opposite numbers. It is important that we start getting their numbers chopped down a bit, because that German scouting unit is preparing to move out and no doubt prepare an assault path for them, find a route for them to begin attacking our hill. So we're going to take a shot, and our target number for hitting them is ranges 1, 2, defensive value 3, 7 or better. Wish us luck. Ooh, so near and yet so far. Nope. No, Rifle Squad A is keeping up a good hot fire, but not really doing much. Meanwhile, over on the US left, a machine gunner comes running up, and he is a very welcome sight, because what this means is we'll hopefully soon begin being able to start pinning German units, or suppressing them, I should say. The nice thing about the machine gunners is they can immobilize the enemy by suppressing them, and that's really what I want. So that's the US turn. What are the Germans going to come up with? Well, the German Rifle Squad A, they can't really move until their scouts have checked out the position for them, but they can shoot back at their US antagonists. It's a hell of a shot. They're going to need a 9 or 10 to do us any damage, but they're going to try it for want of anything better to do. Oh, no, they enjoy no better fortune than we do. Meanwhile, in the south, squad leader for the squad leader for rifle platoons, Rifle Squad C, is going to rustle up some more cards. Now they need to get moving. So much as he wants to add some heavy firepower, I think he's going to focus on making sure he's got more riflemen. And he's also going to add another scout. They're going to need every bit of scouting ability, or at least in the short term they are. And lastly, the first of the scouts for Squad C are going to show up in their deployment area. So they're building up to press their advance too. And that ends that turn. Oh, let's shuffle these. These decks are getting thicker, by the way, as more reinforcements pour in. Okay, so now everything's been reshuffled with all the reinforcements that have been coming in for both combatant parties. I wonder what we're going to end up with. So as they've still got the initiative, let's see what the US has. Ooh, that's not actually too bad. In fact, actually, we could set up some pretty devastating stuff there. Right, okay. That being the case, given that I want to use all these cards, the US is going to basically give away the initiative this turn. And the Germans look like they've got no choice but to seize it. Now, this is a very powerful setup for their, I'll call it their southern flank or their right flank. They've got 3 cards that relate to Rifle Squad C. So they've built up for something very nasty down there, which would make it worth them committing the squad leader for Rifle Squad B for winning the initiative. And oh yes, they win the initiative handily. So advantage Germany. Now, how are they going to do this? Well, first of all, it might be a good idea for them to bolster their squad even further. So their squad leader is going to rustle up their last rifleman card and augment it with a machine gun card using his bolster action. So those go into the German discard pile, ready to be cycled into play disconcertingly soon from the American perspective. Next, they're going to activate their scout, because it's about time they got poor Rifle Group C out of that awkward position there. So the scout can move 2, so he goes 1 and 2. So they enter the woods and they scout that position. Now you might be wondering why we've decided to go there when it potentially puts the Germans into a crossfire between Rifle Squad B and the rather tough defences of Rifle Squad C. The reason I've done that is because although 2 is not bad, the defences the woodland offers, a level 3, is actually quite attractive, and it does allow us to bring more of the US units under fire. It works both ways. Now, the only downside of what the scouts have done is because they've scouted a new area, the Germans have to add a fog of war card to their discard pile. And the last thing they're going to do is order Rifle Squad C to press forward following their scouts. Now that's beginning to look very threatening, because don't forget, all the Germans have to do is plant their boots and take control of one of these areas. Now I'm fairly confident we can hold. I've got a lot of strength there, but I really don't like the thought of them being that close. And it is our turn. Now, unfortunately for me, I've clearly been caught on the hop. I've got plenty of orders for Rifle Squad A on the wrong side of the field. But I've got my platoon sergeant. I am going to try and push my luck. Instead of using him to bolster this turn, I am going to use his command ability of 2, which lets me draw 2 cards and add them to my hand. Ah, okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. So I'm first going to use the rifleman card from B to get them to attack the German right. So they are going to fire at the German riflemen in the woods. So we need an 8 or better to knock a few of them off. Oh dear, no. Well, hopefully this isn't a wasted effort. I am going to use my squad leader for B, and I'm going to use his Inspire ability. And what this does is it allows me to play that rifleman card again, and we're going to take another shot. The riflemen are the target again. And we hit them this time. Good shooting, boys. So another of Rifle Squad C's cards goes into the German dead pile. And there's still quite a lot of them, but we are whittling them down very slowly. Meanwhile, over in the slightly less threatened Sector A, I'm going to get Rifle Squad A to carry on plinking at those people over there. So 7 or better. Nice, we've hit some of the riflemen in Group A. So looking through the German discard pile, note there aren't any in there. I'm going to have to look through their main pile. Yep, there's a rifleman from A. So he can go, and I'll just reshuffle this. That is actually shaping up to be a rather good turn. Now I could, because I have the squad leader for Rifle Squad A present, I could inspire them to do that again. But as that area is somewhat less threatened, I think I will use his bolster ability. As I would much rather see Rifle Squad A supported not just by more riflemen, but by more machine gunners too. So I'll add those to the US discard pile, and that ends that turn. So, next 4 cards. So far, so good. The Germans are pressing hard, but the US are holding. So as the Germans have the initiative, let's see what they've got. Okay, lots of opportunities for Squad C to press their advantage, and the platoon sergeant is invaluable. So the Germans are going because they really want to use all of these guys. They will. Ah, it's a pity. Their scout could use a recon action to get rid of that, but no, there's no point keeping that. They're going to risk giving up the initiative this turn. The US has a bit of a dilemma as well, because these are all very useful people, although arguably in this instance the platoon guide is slightly less useful. So they're going to commit him to win the initiative, or to hopefully win the initiative. And when the cards are revealed, they do it. So, okay, the initiative has passed back to the US. So what can we do to make this a painful turn for the Germans? Well, several possibilities suggest themselves. First of all, this is a very easy decision. Rifleman B, from that group over there, are going to try and continue their run of success, and they're going to target the adjacent German riflemen. So 8 or better, guys, come on. Oh no, okay, that was a bit of a poor shot. Never mind. Let's get the boys next to you from Rifle Squad C to see if they can do any better. Again, targeting the rifleman. Nope. Okay, that wasn't much good. I think we'd better bring up some heavier support, and it arrives in the form of Squad B's machine gunners. So more welcome reinforcements over on the US side. Now, what about the Germans? They're thanking their lucky stars because they've just survived a hail of fire that's been thrown at them. Now, they really want to get over here and they want to try and negate the US defensive advantage. So they are going to send their scouts up that slope to begin infiltrating the US lines. And also trailblazing so that their infantry can come after them. Now that does mean another fog of war card for them, but the Germans now have boots on the ground on one of their objectives, and it really is up to us to throw them off it. My big worry is if they get riflemen up there, they can take control. Well, they'd have to eliminate us first. Maybe I'm worrying a bit too early, but, you know, let's not let it come to that, eh, boys? Because unfortunately, for me, the German riflemen are going to follow their scouts up. Now, tricky question. What to do with their platoon sergeant? The Germans do need more reinforcements. I'd say especially their heavy weapons and heavy support. They're really needed now. But equally, because so many cards belonging to Rifle Squad C are in the deck, if he is used for his command function, it may well give them an advantage. I think, given how close they are to taking that objective, well, aside from the awkward fact that we're still sitting on it, I think he's going to go for using his command function. And let's see what they get. So they get to draw 2 cards for immediate use. Ooh, okay. So this is starting to look like bad news. The first thing that's going to happen is their mortar team, spotting a nice concentration of targets on that center hill, are going to begin targeting it. So no mortar bombs start landing. but we are being ranged in on. That's not good. Meanwhile, Group A's scouts, just to pile the pressure on us, or on the Americans, that is, are going to make a move of their own. They're going to filter past their riflemen and into the woods, which they are immediately going to scout. And the only consolation for the US Army is that they've saddled themselves with another fog of war card. Right, that's the end of a rather dramatic turn. I'm feeling a need for reinforcements. I'm also feeling a need to redistribute my units on that hill. Arg! So the US has the initiative. What have we got? I really, really, really want to use these guys. And come to think of it, I really, really, really want to use these guys too. So, okay, no question about it. We're going to risk giving up the initiative. What about the Germans? Now, they can probably, because their flank attacks are doing so well, they can probably afford to do without their Group B scout this turn. So they're going to commit him for initiative purposes. And he makes absolutely certain that Germany wins the initiative back. So I'll just get that and just adjust my camera because it seems to have lost its focus very slightly. Come on, camera. I need you to look at the map, buddy. Focus, focus, focus. Yay, you're back. Right, so the Germans have the initiative. Now, what are they going to do? They've got a lot of options. That scout could do a lot of things. He could conceal to stick some fog of war cards in my hand, but there may not be much point doing that. I think more realistically, as he's actually there, he is going to have a pop at us. And the more dangerous opponents the Germans face are the US machine gunners. So those scouts are going to have a pop at the machine gunners. And because they're on the hill, it's only a 5 or greater to hit. It's killing distance. Luckily for us, they fluff their shot. Meanwhile, the other scouts, Group A, are going to press forward up the hill. They could have stayed where they were and taken a shot, but the Germans really, really want to pile the pressure onto the US. So they swarm up the hill and incidentally scout it for their own forces, which does get them another fog of war card. That's right, you guys keep doing that to yourselves. I won't complain. And now, Rifle Squad B. To be honest, things are going so well on the German flanks, B might as well join in the fun. So rather than shooting from the disadvantageous location they're in, German Squad B is going to surge forward, go and join their friends. They're going to head this way because they've got more troops on the slope. And it's a bit more likely they'll be able to force a decision with the numbers they have there. I mean, they could have gone that way, but... or actually, no, that's a good point. Maybe they should go for the numbers advantage. It's difficult to say, isn't it? Because that would give them a numerical advantage, but equally, they could bully that side too. No, let's go for the weak spot. They can look after themselves. They'll go to the left flank and put more pressure on that side. So over to the USA. What are we going to do, boys? Well, for starters, we're going to give that scouting group over there a nasty surprise. Not that we're actually going to shoot them or anything. No. But they're just going to be treated to the sight of a bunch of angry-looking men with Browning automatic rifles running up. So all of a sudden, it's looking a bit less healthy for them over there. Now, over here, my rifleman in Group C is going to try and take out their opposite numbers, because they're the really critical opponents. So, so 5 or better to get rid of one of them. And we do it. Good shooting, fellows. So the Germans have to lose another rifleman card for Squad C. There can't be that many of them left. Just to be really mean to the Germans, I'm going to use the squad leader to inspire them to shoot again. So I think it's worth it. And we hit them again. So we must be nose to nose on this hillside. Yep, another Rifleman C card is lost. I sincerely hope they're breaking, but from what I can tell, they're not going anywhere. But we're putting up a fairly stiff fight. So that's ended that turn. I think this is probably a good time to wrap up, just because my phone's given me a memory warning, and I think the camera won't last another turn. So I shall actually, yes, actually things are nice and dramatic now. So just to recap on the tactical situation, the Germans are pressing us hard on both flanks, and they've got a presence right on our doorstep in terms of where our defensive lines are. If they shove very, very hard, they may well take their objective. So I'm going to have to fight really, really hard to push them back. And they have basically forced me into reactive play as the US player. So, so good going to the Germans. They've been fighting that one quite well, even though they've been taking the lion's share of the casualties. But I think that's the misfortune of the side that has to carry out the assaults. From the US side, as I say, it's looking a bit desperate. What we really, really want to do is throw the Germans back on both our flanks. And also, we do need to do something about their mortars, because they are ranged in on the center of our position. And I do not want to suffer losses among my snipers and my mortar team. So some attention's going to have to go to that side of things. But I shall leave these considerations and concerns for a future turn. More importantly, I'll say thank you all for joining me on this second video in the series. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed making it. And as always, guys, because I didn't really thank you properly in the last video, thank you so much for your company and your ongoing support and interest. I hope this has been fun, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Take care. Bye.